सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. We welcome you to our program in Conversation Week. And for this exclusive program, we have Dr. Jorson Fernandes, an ENT specialist. Welcome, Dr. Jorson. And we have advocate, very senior advocate, senior trial court lawyer, Radharao, Gracias. My mogacho yokar, Radharao. These days, आम्ही पळयला the actions of the health minister, Vishwajit Rane, on June 8th, wherein casualty medical officer in Goa Medical College, Dr. Rudresh Kutikar, was subjected to shocking public humiliation at the Goa Medical College itself. It came in for sharp condemnation with the act of recording the distressing episode and disseminated to the media. It was construed as a grave insult to the medical fraternity. Amid the backlash from the entire medical fraternity and opposition parties over Rane's berating a senior doctor and ordering his suspension in public, Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant tried to control the damage by overruling the much controversial and uncalled for decision. Doctor, Jorson, you have seen the entire episode.
Yes.
It's recorded. And what is your take on that?
जोवीत बाब पळय आमचे दर पळय हॉस्पिटल पळय आसा न्ही तातूंत मेडिकल सुपरिंटेंडंट आसता डीन आसता and we always have procedures that are being laid up whenever there is an act of negligence on the part of professionals or doctors for that matter. The first and foremost thing is the health minister comes in, he looked very harsh, he looked very aggressive, he was very rude, he was very ruthless, uncouth, and आयलो तो खंय गेला CMO खंय गेला हाड ताका आपय ताका. Who has given you the authority? You are a non-entity to enter into my medical emergency room as a doctor. Where is the security people gone who should have stopped him there and there itself?
But the minister,
The minister is down, but you have got no right unless until you are sick. You are a health minister. Who gave you the right to enter into the emergency room? That also with a video capturing the whole episode. This is madness. There was a lady who was lying down on one of the stretchers there. You are exposing her. The privacy, the right to privacy of every patient is being taken off by you because you are come with somebody, at least you should have told them you stop all this. You could have taken him in private and talked whatever you wanted to talk. You are coming publicly. Tu taka munta mask sakla kaad ton polpa jai. If you look into that whole video, you will find that Rudresh is the only doctor who was wearing a mask in the emergency. We get medical legal cases down there. We get medical emergency cases down there. So medical legal cases janna pade yeतात. तू तांची confidentiality, तांची privacy तू expose करता. Who has given you the authority and the right? You may be a health minister, you may be the chief minister also. Who has given you the authority? There is no right for you to come and disturb a medical emergency room like that. That was stupid and idiotic on his part. Now that he even went to the extent of saying, "Chal tu gara, go home." That was going on for a long time. Stand properly. It is very derogatory to treat people like this. Ami vice president ashile, ami been secretary ashile of guard. I'm telling you, this had to happen. Taka pet marun datta ashile. This is not something that is being acceptable to us. You don't treat people like this. There are procedures. Let the concerned authority follow those procedures for us. You want to do an inquiry, you do an inquiry, and then taka suspend kar, tuka jai think kar. Tu gara was go home. And tane dusri kiti minute pade. I am going to be there for the next 2 years, and I will see that you are suspended. What happened to that suspension? That bubble was broken. CM said, no, I will see that he is not being suspended. So one side, the health minister is saying that he is suspended without even giving that doctor an opportunity to say what he has to say. To kit tari sangbad no munto, you listen, I am talking. I want to say, you listen. This is very bad here.
Dr. Radha, Dr. Lopes सांगितलं, you listen, you do this. ते सारखे हा from legal point of view. आणि त्याने suspension त्याने करपा जाता.
Exactly. See, what doctor has said is absolutely correct. You see what happens, there is a procedure and there is a process laid down for everything. Now, let us take that this is the Goa Medical College. One particular doctor makes a mistake or deliberately does some mischief. A complaint has to be lodged. It goes to the appropriate authority in the medical college itself. That authority then makes a preliminary inquiry. He then sends it to the under secretary. From the under secretary, it goes to the secretary health, and from there it goes to the health minister.
That means there is a procedure laid down.
Exactly. And then the health minister may accept it or overrule it.
Why?
Now, in this case, what has happened? The chief minister has, like, you know, these bulls who are taken for bullfights. He has come running like that in a predetermined manner. You can see that he is predetermined to do what he has done, and he abuses the doctor. You see, you have to know that finally this doctor is reached where he is because he is good.
Why?
He is not. It is not a post where anyone can go and sit.
Why?
So you treat him according to what the respect that he deserves. Now you look at it. There was a patient there. In that there was a patient, and there was someone attending on the patients also. Now, if the head of the medical system in Goa comes and abuses the doctors, these patients are going to go and tell the world, "Are yang medical college kota yopana, dotra tapo in kali tinga, I mean ospani tinga mon." You are losing the credibility of the medical college, man, by your behavior. You see, if I was there, I would say, "What is going on, man? Why should I come to this hospital?" You have to, above all, maintain the credibility of the institution of which you are head, man. You have completely failed on every count. And let me add, you see what happens now. To be a doctor, it's not that easy. For every 1,000 students who aspire to be doctors, probably 10 or 15 get in. It's an immense process. You have to study, you have to compete, and then only you get in. To be an MLA or a minister, all you need is a clout and money. And that is the trouble. These people who don't deserve to be ministers, who have no idea what life is about, they are bossing over people who have qualified and sitting there as doctors and doing their work. This is what is wrong with our democracy.
I will share with you his words that he has used. Put your hands when you are standing in front of me. Your bloody ego, kick him out from here. You are not authorized to speak when I am speaking. You get out from here. I am telling you to go home, or I will get security to throw you out.
See,
learn to shut up when I am talking to you. I will suspend you for next 2 years, and as long as my tenure is there. And the last one, when I make my mind, I don't want to listen to you. Is this correct and legally accepted?
See, he has made up his mind and suspended him without having the powers to do it. He suspended the judge, at least the doctor, without having the powers to suspend him. And that is how the chief minister was able to revoke the suspension. I actually appreciate what the CM has done. I am given to understand that this is for the first time in post-liberation Goa that a Rani has been put in place, either the father or the son, and made to publicly apologize for an act which was wrong. Never before have the Ranis apologized to anyone in Goa after liberation. Before that is a different story altogether.
And what we know, he has now apologized to the doctor and his family.
That's what I'm saying. He has apologized. You see what happens now as far as this apology or whatever is concerned. We have to consider the fact that, you see what the CM or what health minister said, remove your hands from your pocket. And for a moment I thought that the doctor had his hands in Rani's pocket. Because why should I remove my hands from my pocket, man?
Why?
And we know that all these government ministers have been having their hands in our pockets for so long. It is time for us to tell them and to get them to remove their hands from our pockets. Let the doctor have his hands in our pockets. That is the safest, man. If I have my hands in my pocket, everybody is safe.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct, Dr. Radha. Dr. Jorson, there have been protests from all the associations. You are even Indian Medical Association, the Goa State branch. Then there is a federation of the doctors and also the GARD, Goa Association of Resident Doctors. What do you feel about it?
आम्ही been actually Goa Association of Resident Doctors. We were there as vice president, as a secretary. But this type of things we never tolerated. And this high-handed behavior that we have seen today is something which is unacceptable, and it is inhuman. It's very wild behavior. A person who is cultured should not behave like this. It looked like he was mentally disturbed and needs treatment first. That is the first thing that I would say, rather than talking about everybody else. The way he was telling him to go home, the way he was telling him that for the next 2 years I will see that you are suspended. Ekel bombar futlo, CM an udelo, pin malan fudelo. He said, I'm not going to see that doctor is going to be suspended. What happened to you? Your statements are there now into public view for people. To make a statement like that, you have got a medical superintendent who is moving around with you. You could have simply told him, could you take up this matter, go ahead for an inquiry and decide and then let me know. That would have been the actual procedure. You are condemning a doctor like that in public without even knowing, without even giving him a chance to say what he wanted to say was stupidity.
Dr. Radha, you agree with the procedure lapses?
No, that's what I've said. No, that the health minister has no right to suspend anyone. He has no right. He has a procedure and he has to do it through that procedure. He is not appointed by the health minister. It is the appointing authorities who have the right to terminate, suspend, whatever.
Dr. Jorson? Yeah.
Yes. दुसरे म्हणले तूं तातूंत पळोवपाक गेले जायत न्ही, when we are talking about this emergency room that we have got. आमची गोवा मेडिकल कॉलेज पळय आसा, that is an ultimate place where everybody comes in. There are many other competitive hospitals. It was the first medical college in Asia, allopathic medical college. What is the academic status of that college today? Where are we? Is it the first one in the whole of Asia? No. The reason is because it has not gone upgrading and updating itself. That itself shows that all the ministers who ever have been in the past have not got this college, what was left behind for us, to get it upgraded, to get it updated. We had two of our great surgeons. We had cardiothoracic surgeon in Raut Desai. We had Dr. Kope, who was a pediatric surgeon. They were students of our college. They were the alumni of our college. They could not even accommodate them. We could have gone much, much better. So where is the college status today? And that is something which is a negligence on part of the ministers because they have never upgraded, never updated it. We have seen during the COVID time what we have gone through, harrowing experiences. So these are situations which the health minister has to look into, not this type of small thing where you come, suspend for the next 2 years, I will see that you are suspended. This is something which is very inhuman, which is unacceptable, and it is to be condemned. And we all Indian Medical Association members have condemned this act. This is something which is uncalled for.
But the health minister, Rane himself, subsequently admitted that he had overreacted, but defended the suspension order.
तो कितें करूं, आज ताणें एपोलॉजी लेटर दिलो, ताजो अर्थ कितें जालो, ताजो अर्थ असो जालो, ताणें पयलेंच सांगिल्लें 2 years I'm going to suspend you. He has told him go home there and there itself. He told even the medical, आनी कोणाकय घाल ताका गारो वचून दी. All this you have said, right? And then afterwards the CM said no, I'm not going to allow this to happen. आनी तुवें आतां एपोलॉजी दिला म्हळ्यार ताजो अर्थ कितें? Something is wrong with you on your 3rd floor here. This is what it is. You were not in your senses in what you were doing, or retrospectively you have realized what you have done is wrong. Now, the other thing is somebody wanted an injection. Was it an emergency injection that was being needed? Why do you come to the emergency room for an emergency injection? If some department has asked for it, then the department nurses are there who give it over there. You don't come to the emergency room until it is an emergency. You don't come to the emergency room. We have got an OPD injection room where all injections are being given when all the OPD doctors tell them that you have to take an injection. In the concerned doctor wanted to give it over there into his ward because it's a specialized injection that they want to give, then they do it in the OT, in the minor OT, or they do it in the ward. But not in the emergency room unless until the doctor what? You are coming with an injection and you are telling, Doctor, okay, injection di. I have not advised that injection. Somebody else has advised that injection to you. How in an emergency room I give that injection? I do not even know who has advised you. Why should I give that injection? So there are protocols in our way of managing a patient also. You are disturbing all that and you are telling, I tell you, you do it. That doesn't work in GMC.
But what he says is that I was informed, must be his very good friend, some journalist, and therefore he wanted to make the journalist happy.
What happens, Jovito? The BJP wants to make all journalists happy. We have seen how the entire press in India and in Goa has succumbed and cast out to them without any reason at all, that we know. But you know what was on display that day was the feudal mentality of Rani. We all know that they were feudal lords. And I was told by someone phoned me up And he says these Ranis in the earlier era used to treat tribal people and scheduled castes like animals. They never even used to allow them near their house. And that is the mentality that was reflected there. He thinks that this doctor is someone which his ancestors used to treat that way. And above all, a character of a man comes out in the manner in which he treats his subordinates. This is not the way to treat a subordinate, more so when he is a qualified doctor. And you see, you look at it the other way, Jovito. You have now treated him publicly in a particular way. Now, is it, what will the doctors do? The doctors will now, we all learn from our seniors. Is it not possible that the doctors will think this is the way to treat? If the if the health minister behaves this way, they may also behave accordingly with the patients, man. The way you come, abuse, threaten them. If you threaten your subordinates that way, they will also do the same thing to patients.
So he has set a very bad example.
Absolutely, for his subordinates. They may follow it down the line. You see, this is completely unfair. See, what I am saying is, as far as the suspension is concerned, I understood somewhere that the suspension has been revoked.
Yes.
But the inquiry will go on. Now, to my way of thinking, this doctor has been punished in a manner he didn't deserve. See, public humiliation, what he has done, it has gone all over the world now. That is more than punishment. There is no need for a further inquiry. And as a citizen, I demand that nothing further should be done. No inquiry, nothing. You have troubled that man, you have troubled that doctor publicly. What more inquiry do you want? And now you are apologizing and still you want an inquiry. Why should there be an inquiry? You tell me why there should be an inquiry. There is no scope for any inquiry. See, once you have apologized and once you have publicly been shown that you are wrong, there is no need for an inquiry. Even if there was some minor demeanor, you ignore it and let the world go on. There is no need to trouble the doctor further.
According to the new sections of the new law that has come in, any misbehavior with a doctor calls in for a lot of punishment.
Correct, but not if you are the health minister. What happens is, the law is there in the books,
Yeah.
but its application changes from person to person. I mean, that is my observation as a lawyer.
Yes.
The law is there, offenses are committed, but the higher up you are above the law.
Is it?
Yes.
So
I am saying it in its implementation. In the books, yes, but in implementation, the higher you are, no one bothers with you. You can do anything and get away with it. That is why he has done it.
So that's why they think that they are above
Absolutely, man.
everybody and anything.
You could see his behavior, the way he was strutting around,
Yeah.
as if he owns the hospital, as if he is the owner of the hospital, not a health minister.
He said so. In different.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes,
Yeah.
that isn't the way to behave.
Yeah.
No.
So, Dr. Jorson, let's go back to the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is the patient came to take a B12 injection, and by mistake they said they went to the casualty ward, and the staff then directed, you go here, go there, and that routinely injections are not given in the casualty, but ultimately it was given in the orthopedic ward 105. But he acted and he wanted to show perhaps the journalist who sent him the message to look into the matter, and the journalist also told him how the CMO had behaved with a patient which happened to be an elderly woman.
See, there is something called as, triaging. When we talk about triaging in an emergency room, and more so the Goa Medical College. Saturday, Lagi Paule Kina, from all the peripheral hospitals, everybody want to shun their patients to the ultimate destination, that's Goa Medical College. आमकां लेगीत याद जाता, आमी जेन्ना पळय आशिल्ले तेन्ना आमी तेंच करताले, सिनियर रेजिडेंट जाले तेन्ना. पेशंट कोणा पळय धाडपा जाय तांकां आमी घरा धाडटाले, because we knew there will be an overload. And that is what is happening even till date in our Goa Medical College. Emergency room pack jata. Triaging karpa. Triage is a process where you are going to decide who needs to be treated first so that maximum chance will be there for maximum number of people to survive. आता आतून जर इतून तुगे एक बारके इंजेक्शन घेवन आयलो, which is not an emergency, and you are telling me, give me this injection, I am going to kill another person who is going to be needing my care, and I can't do it. And that cannot be judged by anybody else, the health minister. It is judged by the emergency doctor who is going to do triaging. And if that is the type of a situation, if you are coming with your non-emergencies, in a situation where there is an emergency room, where there are people which are medical legal cases, where there are people who are come for emergencies, and you are denying them the treatment, that means you are killing somebody to give just a non-emergency care for somebody else, just because he happens to be some journalist relative, and just because the journalist knows the health minister. That's not the way Goa Medical College is being run. He has brought down the reputation of the medical college, of the institution which he himself was heading, and that's a shameful thing for a Minister for Health.
Rane said that he had accepted that his tone and words could have been more measured. He took full responsibility for how he communicated and assured that such an approach would not be repeated. Rane, however, asserted that he would not apologize for standing up for a patient who was denied care. What is your take on
now,
this?
as of now, we do not know whether any patient was denied care at all. See, there is no such thing on record that patient was denied care. From what you see about that incident, I do not have first-hand information what exactly happened. Only some pressman wrote something. Now, a minister cannot react to a call from a pressman. He should have phoned up the doctor, asked his version of events, and then maybe said something. Here, no, he has simply come and like, bull in a china shop, and then gone around, man, just saying things, doing things which are not befitting even a peon in a GMC. Forget a health minister. You act properly, no? That is what hurts us. That is what hurts us, is that you have not given the doctor the credit due to him. And you have completely taken the law into your own hands when you have no business to suspend a doctor. At least in this connection. You see, but this is not the first incident. I recall viewing something else on TV where he had suspended a nurse. Similarly, some cameramen come, he talks to the nurse, suspend her, and she was suspended. Possibly because it was a nurse, it didn't become a big issue. You see, our society also is such that if it is a nurse or someone lower down the order, people don't react the way you react to a doctor. So, it is not that it is something happening for the first time, but hopefully this incident will change the attitudes.
Let's hope so.
Yes, because he had said, I will not apologize. He has now apologized. Even that suspension is revoked. And this is again, I must also congratulate the Chief Minister. For the second time in a few months, he has put Rane in his place. Earlier, after that High Court decision on this TCP Section 17, he had come out furiously saying, I am going to the Supreme Court to challenge that and demand a stay. But immediately after that, in a couple of days, Chief Minister said, we are not going to the Supreme Court, and they didn't go to the Supreme Court on their stay application. This is the second time the Chief Minister has used his prerogative to overrule the Health Minister and the TCP Minister.
But people have talked about the same thing, that the Chief Minister superseded him, and it is due to their inner political compulsions.
May or may not be. Their internal things I do not know. But the fact is, the Chief Minister has twice found the Health Minister wanting. And I think that is more than sufficient to either at least change his portfolios, if nothing else. You see, when you know that this minister is acting abusively, that he doesn't know to behave even the second time around, I would feel that even if you don't want to remove him for political reasons, give him portfolios which are a little less, let us say, with little less public reaction is called for. Because this both town planning and medical are high profile portfolios where he has been found wanting. So change his portfolios. I believe that there is a move for all ministers to resign.
Yes, this is the latest what
yes,
we hear.
we hear.
Yeah.
That would be a nice thing to happen. If that happens, Rane also, when being given new portfolios, would not feel insulted. You are in the reshuffle, you are being given different portfolios.
Yeah, we have seen during the visit of the Health Minister at the GMC that the medical superintendent was there. Couldn't the medical superintendent also...
That is how it should have gone by. And second thing is, this calls for setting up procedures, whether they are there or not there. It's very important that the guard should sit down with the medical superintendent, maybe with the Secretary Health, and organize their SOPs, standard operating procedures, how they go about with us. And then those laid up procedures is something, if they are not there, they should be done right now, written down, documented, and they should be followed subsequently. But there cannot be any emotional abuse like what Dr. talks about. That emotional abuse is something not very acceptable. You are sending a wrong message to all the patients who are there in and around. They will also think that, okay, that's what an institution called Goa Medical College is. Why should I come over here? The privacy of the people is being disturbed. You are coming with a video camera, you don't even stop that. So what you wanted yourself that you should be captured and people should know that you are doing some work, and that also the work that they are doing is nonsense work. That is what happened. So nobody even stopped. Nobody even stopped the video camera, saying that this is not the place for you to take a video, because the privacy of the patient, the right to privacy was being disturbed, confidentiality was being disturbed. Emergency room is not meant for Tom, Dick and Harry to enter in. It is meant for only the patients who are ill, and maybe their relatives, if the doctor wants them, they can come in, but not everybody else.
Yeah, and it is only after the Chief Minister overruled the Health Minister that the doctor would not be suspended, and that the matter was discussed with him and the Health Minister, and then the Chief Minister says no suspension. So it shows that he had acted rudely.
Exactly. Good that Dr. Pramod Sawant diagnosed his case. And then the remedy came in, otherwise it would have been a bigger mess.
Yeah.
No, Jovit, it appears that the Ayurvedic diagnosis is better than allopathic diagnosis.
This is the first time that I hear that. Yeah. And on Sunday, that's yesterday, after facing severe backlash over his public outburst against the CMO, Dr. Rudresh Kutikar, Rane, the health minister, issued a new apology to Dr. Kutikar and his family, along with the medical fraternity. And now the health minister says, I have no ego. I had no intention to hurt the medical fraternity. I will always stand up for discipline at a GMC. Now, how do you define this discipline at GMC?
He has been the most indisciplined person into this whole episode, if you have a look. And he's talking about other people should be disciplined. You go there, you disturb somebody's privacy, you disturb somebody's confidentiality, you go with a video camera, you ask the doctor to remove his hand from his pocket, you ask him to stand properly, you ask him to remove the mask in an emergency room, which is a personal protective equipment which a doctor needs. You are telling him that you are suspended, you are telling him to go home, you barge into the emergency medical room when you are a non-entity there, you are not even a patient, you may be a health minister. Second thing, what were the security people doing? They should have blocked that fellow who came with the video camera.
Security people are his own people, mostly from Satari.
So why,
they will not.
So why didn't he suspend them? Why didn't he suspend them? You know that your security people should have blocked that person who was coming with a video camera. That means these are untrained people. These are people who are selected at his whims and fancies, and not the people who are being required there. So you are putting a square peg in a round hole in the security section of a Goa Medical College, and that's why these episodes are being happening.
What
it is his own making.
Dr. Radha?
Jovit, what happens now? The whole thing was pre-planned. You never find journalists with their cameras hanging around there. This was pre-planned. The journalists were brought there, and Rani probably wanted to put up a big show that he is someone who is on the spot and can take immediate decisions.
But it misfired.
It misfired. So therefore, this press was there, everything was pre-planned. There's no doubt in my mind that it was pre-planned, and Rani wanted to show off. See, look here, I am the minister and I have the powers to do what I choose to. But fortunately, and I am saying fortunately, it misfired. Fortunately, because it means now some semblance of discipline will be brought in where it is required, and not in GMC. It is in his cabinet, in his chambers. Probably he will now ruminate over the things and realize that he was wrong, and that may be for the better.
It is surprising that he now found that he was wrong after the chief minister intervened and said no suspension.
No, it is not after the chief minister intervened. The chief minister did not simply intervene. There was a huge public backlash, huge. I don't think there was even one minister or any one man who supported Rani. I read a post in the in the Facebook by BJP, principal BJP spokesperson, Giriraj Verdenkar.
What does he say?
No, he has not mentioned him. But on this episode, he is very clearly said what Rane has done is wrong without mentioning him.
Okay.
You go on Facebook, you'll find it.
It is there.
It is not something that BJP spokesman
Yeah.
would normally say. And there are a lot of comments on that. It means the BJP itself has realized that this may cost them. That is why the CM has intervened. And possibly, as you said, the CM also has his cause to settle with Rane. So this came in handy.
Yeah.
So that is good.
But the health minister, Viswajit, says, although I said that I am moving a file for the suspension of the doctor, I never went ahead with the procedure. So there is no question of suspension anymore.
But why did he say then that for 2 years he'll remain suspended as long as I am there? That's his words. As long as I am there, you will be suspended. Why did he make that statement? And now you are backtracking yourself on your words because you have realized what you have done is a very gross manner. You have unnecessarily emotionally abused the doctor, and that emotional abuse is something which you cannot correct by just saying that I'm not going to suspend you.
Dr.
The
Radha,
damage
you were an MLA, and did you come across such a behavior during that tenure when you were there?
You see, when I was there, the health minister was a cultured person and a doctor himself, Dr. Wilfred D'Souza. And he is not someone who would do such a thing, absolutely not, in my time. See, the minister fortunately was also someone who had a background of being a people's man, not a feudal lord like these Ranis. So behavior was different. And I must also say that in those days, even the legislators and the government behavior was different. Today everything is reckless. There is no respect for anyone. The quality of legislators and governance has gone down. Anyone can see that. So I was fortunate to have been an MLA in the glorious days when things were different.
But why are these things changing and in this negative manner?
No, but I think everything is regressing now throughout the country. And with the BJP in power, it is worse. They have no character. They are only there to stick to power and to grab whatever they can. We can see it at every level of governance today. Every level. You see TCP, you see collectorate, you see survey department, any department you see, medical college, wherever. All things are done in a haphazard manner for particular personal gains. So this is the situation.
I mean, how do you remedy now all these evils that we see?
See, it is precisely for this reason. Just a few days back, I addressed the press saying that we are holding a convention of activists, because I feel that finally we see these activists going and fighting for issues. We could all put our heads together and try and find out some solution before the next elections come to go on a proper path. At least that is the way I look at it. This was called before this incident. I just spoke to the press off the cuff.
Doctor, you were a senior resident in the Goa Medical College. Did such happenings?
We had episodes like this.
But GRD was proactive.
Yes,
they wouldn't slip over it.
Yes. We would take action immediately within 2 to 3 hours.
They were there.
I can give an example where one of the MLA came and threw his cards saying that I am the government, you are the government servant, and threw all his visiting cards. You examine my brother. And I still remember telling the dean, because he did not make his case paper. Now the doctor has to make notes. She wrote all the notes on a continuation sheet, but then we need to have the number because we are going to give him, he had come with an acute abdomen and we had to give him certain medicines. The medicine dit law zale to tuka numbers hai baba ye medicine umke numberache umke patient gela mun kalpak, because sister has to indent accordingly. He wouldn't make a paper. Can you believe, Jovit, tedna te ek paperak ₹1 ditale. वो जो कोण पे आपणाची पळय मारता पळय आपूण गव्हर्नमेंट आनी तूं गव्हर्नमेंट सर्वंट म्हण ताजे कडेन रुपया ना ताका सांगलें आमी तुका भिक्षा जाय न्ही आमी दिता दोनी हात अशें कर रुपया घालता तुज्या हातान. When Dean came and told us, we told the Dean, from tomorrow onwards we will see that nobody pays if he doesn't pay. Immediately we told the Dean, if he doesn't pay ₹1, nobody tomorrow who comes to the OPD will ever pay for that particular case paper. Immediately the Dean said, okay, I will pay. तू कर न्ही पूण पयशे किटीन येवपा जाय रूल इज अ रूल प्रोसिजर इज अ प्रोसिजर फॉलो इट यू कॅनॉट हॅव डिफरंट प्रोसिजर्स फॉर डिफरंट पेशंट्स
So, in other words, the ethics and morals are on the decline, Dr. Radha?
Obvious, not just in medical care, everywhere, man. Can you not see it? We can see, man, that in public life, even in individuals, everybody is today, there's no rule of law. There's nothing going on, man, properly. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Disgusting it is today. What I've seen of my Goa now and in my childhood, there's a complete contrast. Complete.
What do you say, Dr. Jorson?
There is, because see, this culturing is very, very important, because when you behave like this, going for a debriefing session, going for your psychological treatment is all important. We have been also in areas of disasters after going and working and looking after patient with very minimal number of supporters for you in giving whatever emergency treatment you are supposed to give with very minimal equipment. Your mind starts working. I lost this patient because of this. This didn't happen in time. That didn't happen in time. He did not come in time. It's a time of disaster. We have to also go for debriefing. So when somebody behaves like this, you need to go for debriefing so that you realize for yourself, I have done this mistake. I will not do it again. This is important. I remember when there was a chlorine gas leak in one of the industries. Patient were shifted to Ribandar. From Ribandar, some of the patients were shifted to our Goa Medical College in Panjim now. And what happened was, Dr. Willie came immediately that time to the casualty. So, amke thai ashilo. The first thing that he did was, he asked us, Dr. Jorson, do you need anything that I need to do? Look at the beauty of that. Now, he is a health minister. He is a doctor by himself. He has come there as a health minister to support. Do you want me to give any instruction to any of the staff, to the dean? And he was there all throughout. And we told him, Dutur mele tu mache bahir hota, amka mele anga guspapa, because his normal thing was put his hands behind. That was his normal style. But he was very observant of what we are doing. He started oxygen for some of the patients. He helped the patients also to hold them up. Now, nobody would say that, why should I hold? But he, as a doctor, he came in there, and look at the way the cultured man, being a health minister, came in support of all the resident doctors.
But he had high morals, values, and Dr. Radha, you say these are on the decline. So it does not reach the lowest level. What should be done, especially from the educational point of view today, because they say you cannot teach morals, you catch the morals. But if there are no morals, from where will you catch them?
You see, according to me, the more, you see, in the earlier era, the colonial masters, Portugal, had just been kicked out. Now we are moving away from a particular culture that we Goans had imbibed. It is this culture to see what Indian tourists flock to Goa. You see the interaction between the East and the West. That is what has made Goa what it is. And that is what kept us apart, at least was distinguishable between us and the rest of India. See, Karwar and Malwan are just parts of the same coast.
Yes.
But you see, Karwar and Malwan are entirely different. People don't go
Totally
there.
different.
They used to come here because we had created a separate way of life. That is diminishing. First with Goans migrating out, and they being supplanted by hundreds of thousands of other people with a different way of life. So we are being overpowered with what I would call Indianization, which is destroying the culture that was created here. That is why this is happening. You see, after all, we are now getting nationalized. Earlier they were saying we were denationalized. This is the result of nationalization. So I think.
So that's why more people from New Delhi now are coming.
Exactly,
to Goa.
everybody is coming, and they are coming to. You see, they are coming because they find Goa is different. But with their influx and with influx of so many others, they are going to make Goa into another place.
So this what has happened is not part of the Goan culture.
No, it is not at all. And I think it's an eye-opener for the guard, for the Ministry of Health, for the Public Health Department to sit down, to resolve and to set procedures, because as he said, the only one statement that was okay, that the patient care is ultimate. Yes, we all do believe in, because we all stand for it. As medical professionals, yes, the patient's care is ultimate and we are all standing for it. But at no point of time there should be negligence. But the support system should also work in that manner. If there are patients who are coming in from all the periphery of Goa on a Saturday and a Sunday from the periphery, what does that tell us? That means at the periphery, you are not having professionals who can handle these cases. That's why they are coming over here. So how about now setting high standards of medical care at that periphery? Why is it not happening? And who is supposed to do it? It's not the doctor, it's not the medical superintendent, it's not the dean, but it's exclusively the public health department and the minister for health. That means your assessment of standard of care, medical care at the periphery, if you start upgrading it, then you will find that these patients will not come to GMC and there will not be a burnout of the doctors who are working there. If you go on a Saturday and Sunday, there is no place in the casualty. People are left onto the stretchers. Why is this happening? Answer that question first. Sort out, resolve this, and it's time for the guard, for the medical college, for the public health department, and for the Minister of Health to realize that this is where our problem is, and let us try to resolve this. And everybody has to work in synergy, because the ultimate thing is patient care.
Yeah, but then the health minister has to approve it.
Yes, so the fault lies there. That's why I said no doctor, no resident doctor, no medical superintendent, no dean can do it. It is the Minister for Health who has to do it. So if you are supposed to do it, then everybody else has to sit down and tell him that this is where we need to upgrade all the peripheral hospitals that are there. So those patients are not being drained and not being sent over here on a weekend so that there is an overload over here.
So the health minister is a politician. And do you think the politicians look in this professional manner?
See, what happens, Jovito, what happens is, medicine, and particularly at the GMC and government hospitals, is a very stressful occupation. You see, all types of people come to hospitals with all types of injuries and disease. So the doctor also, see, patients expect to be treated, but then it is not physically possible because there are so many patients coming. So doctors have to make a choice, and maybe sometimes they may make a wrong choice also, for all that matters. The fact is, doctors have to work under stress. And patients, I've seen that.
They keep on pressing.
Exactly. I mean, the patient is not wrong. Now, in this case, the pressman, I do not really know what was the incident, but the pressman has a right to complain, and that is what the press is here. If they see something wrong, they have to publicize it, and they have to complain. But when such a complaint comes, the man who receives the complaint must act properly. There's nothing wrong by the pressman here. I am not saying that doctor has erred there. I don't know what happened. But a pressman has rightly or wrongly lodged a complaint. This is not a way for a minister to come and do what he has. He ought to have contacted his own subordinate, the doctor, or the dean, and found out what happened. This is not what he did. And in this episode, there is only one man who has come out with flying colors. That is Dr. Kutikar. You see, in all that, if you have seen his demeanor, he was there. He did not say anything, even though the minister practically threatened him, embraced him, everything we could see. He was there quietly.
His
and
response was very peaceful.
Exactly. So I appreciate what Dr. Kutikar has done, and because of this incident, everybody knows what Rani is, and I hopefully things will be set right, and Dr. Kutikar need not worry. The whole world knows. We all know that he was not in the wrong, and even though incident was negative, everybody will carry a very positive image of Dr. Kutikar. That's the best part of it.
Any final thoughts on this episode?
My only thing is that it is important for the Minister for Health not to unnecessarily, uncalled for, intervene into the medical system unless until it is being recommended by his junior that this is where we need your intervention. Just coming like that and intervening, disturbing the whole setup is just condemnable. It's something that is not
and it was not a life emergency at all. An injection.
Right. So this is where he needs to understand. But it's an eye-opener not only for Anis but for all the other ministers also who send patients there, that they should not intervene unnecessarily, uncalled for, and disturb the setup, because there are other patients who don't have that level of contact, and therefore they are being kept down there because other patients are coming in and rolling up over there. And that's what exactly happened in the casualty. Everything came to a standstill for that 5 minutes when he entered in. And that's something wrong. 2, all people, press people who are coming into the hospital, they should know for themselves, they cannot shoot inside. You cannot capture anybody. You are now trying to take the confidentiality and the privacy of the patient, which is the right of theirs. You are encroaching on that. This is another lesson that we have learned. 3, medical superintendent who has to be proactive of taking up this type of matters, saying that, sir, I will deal with it. You cannot be a silent spectator. You have to say that I will deal with this situation. That also did not come up from the medical superintendent. 4, it's important also for him to realize that it's a medical institution which you are heading as a Minister for Health, and you have brought down the reputation of the whole medical fraternity. You have threatened doctors. You have destroyed the very institution which you are heading for with all these acts of yours which were not meant for, which was a very rude behavior. And it's a lesson for the rest of the ministers also to behave properly.
Radha, your final take.
I mean, final take is all said and done. You see, I think this episode is finally, what is coming out is for the better. Everybody now knows what are his limits. And from this one ugly episode, hopefully, some new trends will be set and we will all be beneficiaries of it. That's all that I can say, yes.
So I think the opinion that we hear from everybody is that the health minister has been dealt a humiliating blow, not only by the people, also by the medical fraternity and opposition, but also by his own chief minister, Dr. Pramod Sawant. It was a rare and decisive move, overruling Rane's dramatic suspension within a mere 24 hours. Somebody remarked that the health minister's bravado evaporated faster than the ink on the suspension order. The journalists felt that Rane was forced to retreat as an act of political survival and not a contrition. In this episode, the CM, Dr. Pramod Sawant, played the master stroke. Do you agree with that?
That's what has happened.
Yeah, obviously, that's why I congratulated him.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Dr. Jorson, for being with us. You have suspended your clinic this morning, and Radharao, you came all the way from Majorda, and thank you very much on behalf of CCR TV.
Thank you.
Thank you.